Hello, my name is Lou and I'm a photographer and retoucher. Today's video is mainly for people that want to start to use Photoshop. We're gonna discover the main tool that you need to use to edit your photo in Photoshop. If you're a beginner watching this video and you want to learn a specific topic, just let me know in the comments what you wanna learn and I can make a video later on. Okay, so I'm using Photoshop 2021, that's the last version, but any previous version of Photoshop or Adobe CC will be just fine and they will be pretty much the same. So when you open Photoshop, you will end up on this window and then you will click on Create New. Okay, and then you will see this window. So basically in this window you have all your recent file. And then you can see here it's some preset that you have in Photoshop. It's just preset with different formats. So there is photo, print, art. And for example, if you need to add a special image for your videos, you can just click on film a video and choose the same setting that your video. And you just have to click on it and then click on create. So for this tutorial I'm gonna use a ratio of 4:5. 4:5 is a ratio that you use to post on Instagram. So 4:5 pixels, so you can choose what you prefer, so pixel, inch, centimeters, it's just how you want it. Then you can choose title. I almost always use 300 pixels per inch, and yeah, then I just let it as it is. So then you click on create and you're gonna have a white canvas in the middle of your screen. Some stuff on the left, on the right, sorry, column, and the toolbar on the left. If your Photoshop is not like this, you can just go to Window, Workspace, and click on Default Essentials. Okay, so we're gonna start with this left toolbar because it's very important to know the tool that you can use in Photoshop. And I won't talk about every tool and I won't go deeper with the tool because it's gonna take ages and it's just a walkthrough Photoshop. So if you want some deeper explanation about a specific tool, just let me know in the comment and maybe I can create a video about it. But yeah, let's drag an image here. Okay, so that's a photo that I took in south of France. Which is very important in my opinion is to remember the shortcut for every tool. I mean, every tool that you use very regularly, and the tool that I'm gonna talk about is the tool that you probably, if you are serious about editing, gonna use as well. So just take a notepad, take a paper, anything, and write the shortcut and just let it in front of your screen or in your desk or whatever, but just use it and you're gonna save a ton of time. And it might seem useless at first and you might think, oh, I'm saving just 3 or 4 seconds, but it's worth remember them if you want to be efficient in your workflow. So yeah, so the command V is the move tool. So the move tool will allow you to move stuff around. So you see, if I click V and I drag my photo around, it's what V. So the move tool allow me. Then we have 3 tools for selection. So the marquee tool, that's basically something to make a selection rectangle, but you also, if you click a bit longer on the marquee tool, you can also have an elliptical marquee tool. So if you wanna make circular selection. So yeah, you see my selection is here. Let's say I wanna duplicate it and then use V to move it, then you see I have my selection. thanks to the marquee tool. Okay, so let's remove this. Yes. Then you have the object selection tool. It's working very well if you have uniform background with an object. Then Photoshop is working pretty well, and you will be able to select it automatically. Here we're gonna try it on this board. So this is the shortcut W. Okay, so you can see here. Let's say I wanna select this board, so you just click and drag around it. And I can tell you it's not gonna work very well. Okay, you have to do it on the right layer. I can tell you it's not gonna work very well because the background is not that smooth. So here we can see the selection that we just made, and you see it's not doing a bad job, but it's not really what we want. So yeah, remember you can use this object selection tool by clicking on W, but for landscape, you probably use more the marquee tool, the pen tool, and the lasso tool. So let's talk about the lasso tool. Is the command, the shortcut L, and then here you can make a selection and just some more complicated selection. So if you need to move around, you can, and you can just make your selection even if it's a complicated one, as you can see here. Okay, so to keep going with the selection tool, there is the pen tool, which is the shortcut P, and it's just here on the bar. And this selection tool will allow you to be very precise. So you know, you can make point, another point, and then if you drag, you will be able to make curves. And then when you are happy with your first curve, you click Alt, and you can choose in what direction will be your next point. So if I want to follow the board, I will just make it here, create my curve. I want to go on the left, boom, and I continue like that. I'm doing a very quick job here. And then you click on make selection. I don't want any feather, so I click on OK. Command G to duplicate it, and then V if I want to move it. Oh, I'm not on the right layer. Okay, V to move it, so I'm still not in the right layers. Okay, anyway, so that's all your selection tool that you can use and that you can find on your selection bar. So remember, it's M for the marquee tool, L for the lasso tool, W for the object selection tool, and P for the pen tool. But I bet you're gonna use a lot of the P, the pen tool, and the lasso tool. Eventually, the marquee tool. So now we have here the crop tool that will allow you to crop in your images following a specific ratio that you can choose here, you know, square ratio. 4:5 is mostly for Instagram. And then you have 16:9, and you can choose if you want horizontal or vertical by clicking on those arrows here. Okay, so here we're gonna stay on the 4:5, and you can also, by dragging this box, choose a specific area if you wanna crop it. And let's say we want only these parts. Oops. Okay. Then we can just crop it, and you will have only this part. You click on enter on your screen, and then up we are working with only this image. Now we're gonna talk about the eyedropper tool. So the eyedropper tool is the shortcut I, and that will allow you to pick a color. So let's say I want the watercolor. I will see in my active colors the watercolor. If I choose the rock, I will see the rock. If I choose the trees, I will see the trees color. So that's a tool that you might use a lot as well with the brush tool. So the brush tools is the command B, and up, if you add a new layer, the brush tool will allow you to brush on your image or where you want to use it. Okay, so then you have the stem tool. That is the command S, and is very useful to clean your image. So I really recommend to use the stem tool and the healing tool. So stem tool is S. With the stem tool, you need to sample a color. So let's say I want to remove those reflections with using this part of the water. So I will just sample a color from here and brush those reflections out here. Just a little advice: never choose a flow of 100% because it's gonna look extremely weird. It's always better to go with a flow of 10%, and then you can go slowly and build your cleaning. So yeah, that's just a little tips that I have for you here, but maybe I'll make a video a bit deeper about the cleaning tools. So you also have the spot healing brush tool. So that's the command G on your keyboard, and it's also for cleaning, and actually is one of the tools that works really well on Photoshop. And let's say I don't want this reflection, I will just brush on it and it's gone. So it's working pretty well in a lot of cases. So I love this tool. I use it a lot to clean my images. So remember, it's the letter G, and you can just remove stuff that you don't need in your image. So yeah, that's it. And what else do we need a lot? I want to talk about the gradient because it can be useful. So the gradient tool, in default you will have like black, something black like that. So that is the linear tool right now. So you just click and drag and that will create a gradient. If you want to create a radial gradient, you just do the same, but you click on this little icon here and you see it's creating like a circle. I recommend you to just experiment with those tools. Just take a random image and do stuff on it. Even if it's ugly, at least you know what you can do with those tools. And in my opinion, it's very important to just experiment with that so you can learn. So that's it for part 1 of Photoshop for beginner. If you like this video, just subscribe and like, and don't forget to come back and watch the part 2 of Photoshop for beginner. And if you want to learn some specific topic, just let me know in the comment and I can make a video